Welcome to the Speak Black Woman podcast. I am super excited for those of you who are brand spanking new to me. My name is Quinn Conyers, and I broadcast the brilliance of Black women in business. I show you how to turn conversations into cash so you can maximize and monetize all speaking opportunities on behalf of your business, your book, or your brand. And I'm super excited because you know that I look near and far. I look East Coast and West Coast to find you the most amazing guests that can really breathe life into your business, really show you how to go from where you are to where you want to be. But more importantly, make sure that you have a magnificent business and not a mediocre business. Because at the end of the day, what you do is so amazing. And I just want to be a resource. I want to be your champion. I want to be your cheerleader and seeing you grow and excel as an entrepreneur, especially an entrepreneur who speaks. Because you know anything about me, it's all about speaking and leveraging speaking as an income stream, marketing strategy, and lead generation within your business. And today I'm excited because we have one of my good friends, Heather Cox. Now, listen, I'm going to let you know right now, when you see her, she doesn't look like us. However, she is one of us. I checked. She's amazing. So I know you're probably thinking, what is going on, Quinn? But she is vetted, she is tried, and she is true. And at the end of the day, you all know that I'm a believer and a champion for women in business, regardless of color. As long as you are all about business, then you can be a part of my tribe. You can be a part of my team. And that's how I feel about Heather. So with that being said, I know that some of you are like, oh my gosh, Quinn, I need to grow. I need to expand. Well, I got you, because part of growing and expanding is looking at how can I become a women-owned business or a minority-owned business? What type of certifications are open to me? I'm glad that you asked, because this is why I have Heather here, because she's a genius and she's a guru. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring on our special guest, Miss Heather Cox, to the Speak Black Woman podcast. Do you see how we're soul sisters? She has on orange lipstick. I told y'all. I love her. So Heather, welcome. How you doing? How you feeling?
Thank you. I love being part of your tribe. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yes. So thank you so much for being here.
Of course. I'm so excited. I've been looking forward to this since the day we met.
I know.
At the women conference.
Yes, Heather and I shared a panel together, and it was like love at first sight. I mean, we started talking, our energy, we vibed, and we were having a whole freaking love fest on the back end channel. And I knew that, I wanted to bring her to you because she has some great information that can really propel and fast forward your business. So for those of you who are not familiar with Heather Cox, let me explain the brilliant woman that you see before you today. Not only is she a dynamic speaker, she's a business owner, she is a wife, she is a mother of 5. If I remember, she has a set of twins, correct?
I do. 4-year-old twins.
Double the fun, double the trouble. She also is very highly engaging. She has a fun style. A personality is absolutely amazing. And she's also the president and co-founder of a company called Certify My Company. And she teaches entrepreneurs how to strategically choose, attract, and make more money, save time and resources, and accelerate their success so they can have the freedom to do exactly what they want. So if you are a person who wants to kind of follow certain rules and you want to have a certain stringent lifestyle, Heather is not the one for you. But if you want to be free and do business on your own terms, you want to tune into this podcast, because I promise you that Heather will blow your mind and rock your world. In addition to that, she really values relationships, and she is a matchmaker at heart. She enjoys giving an edge and really boosting the way her customers make money, who wasn't about the bottom line, as well as she's all about company culture and team morale, and diversity, equity, inclusion is one of her best friends. So with that being said, I just want to again say, Heather, thank you so much for being on the Speak Black Women podcast.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for having me. This is so fun. I'm very excited. And I love talking about certification, as you know. So yes. It's great. And yes, it's all about the bottom line. That's what entrepreneurs do, is the bottom line, right?
Yes, let's talk about this for a second, because I'm very interested. I mean, if you guys know anything about me, I'm definitely a teacher, but I become a student in 2.2 seconds because I believe that the more you know, the more you can grow and enhance. So tell me, what is Certify My Company? Like, it sounds great. I think I know what it is, but for those who are listening, like, what is Certify My Company? What's that movement? What's that brand?
So Certify My Company is a boutique supplier diversity consultancy that specializes in facilitating diversity certification for women, ethnic minorities, LGBT, veteran, and disability-owned businesses. Because those are the main 5 demographics that can be certified through one of the third-party organizations.
Awesome. So for people who are like, I mean, I've heard about certification, but I think I need to have $1 million. I think I need to have 12 employees. What are some of the things, if people are looking to get certified, do they need to have in place before they come to your company?
That's an excellent question. And I love myth busting because there are so many myths out there about supplier diversity, about diversity certification. So no, you can get certified the day you open your business. By every organization, no. But one of the first things we do with every single one of our clients or potential clients, whether they hire us or not, is determine which certifications are going to best impact their business, right? People will come to me all the time and say, Heather, I want to get the state of New Jersey certification. I'm like, well, why? Are you doing business with the state of New Jersey? No, my friend told me to. Well, no, that's not the best certification for you. Who are you doing business with? Now, who do you want to do business with? That will help us determine which certification or certifications will best impact your business and give you the biggest ROI. I am not in the business of just throwing spaghetti on the wall and hoping something sticks for you. You can spend your whole life and your whole bank account getting certified. That is not the path that I typically recommend for most entrepreneurs. I want to be a little more strategic about it. So you don't have to be $1 million in revenue. You can be, under 100,000. You could be brand spanking new. It really doesn't matter. The point of certification is to have access to opportunities, whether it be business development, company development. And additionally, it also gives you the ability to have someone else vet your company. You can help scale your company. The cool thing about the private sector certifications, and we should probably go into the different types of certifications that are out there, is that they don't care if you get to be 20 billion in revenue, right? Some of the state certifications will cut you off and you will no longer be eligible. But for the private sector, they want to support you and be your cheerleader to see how big you can grow your company. So if you want to do business with the Fortune 1000, if you want to do business with other diverse businesses, if you want to do business in that kind of realm, then the private sector certifications are the ones for you. So there are other, there's like, it could be like that component of it, we could go on for a whole hour by itself, right? Because the state certification, some of them do require a year in business. Some of them require certification from your home state. Some require a minimum, a threshold of personal net worth, a threshold of size. But the private sector ones do not.
No, that's really, really good to know. So let me ask you this question, and I know it might be a redundant or crazy question, right? But why would a business even want to get certified? Like, what's the advantages? Okay, so I am a women-owned or LGBTQ or veterans-owned, so I know that I am, but why does it matter to these other companies who might want to work with me? What is the advantage of being a certified company?
So I'm going to start with why would they even want to do business with you? People assume it's because they get tax breaks or they get some kind of incentive from the government, right? No, the reason that they look for diverse suppliers is because it makes them more money. So I'm going to give you an example, and I like retail example just because it's most tangible for most people. So are you familiar with the Walmart study from about 5 or 6 years ago?
No.
Okay, so Walmart knows that women control more than $5 trillion of consumer spending in the US. And women make 83 to 85% of all consumer decisions in the US. So Walmart, and I am paraphrasing, so don't try to Google my exact words because you will not find it. Walmart wanted to know how to get more of that money in their pocket. So they asked their customers. So one of the questions they asked to the women customers is, if you went in to buy shampoo, for example, and you had a choice of two, and one was easily identifiable as women-owned and one wasn't, would you be more likely to buy that shampoo? So what percentage do you think said they'd be more likely to buy the shampoo that they could easily identify as women-owned?
100%.
Well, it was 90%, but pretty close.
Yeah.
That is a lot. Now, don't think that's just a one-off, because Wine Intelligence magazine knew that, and this is a pre-pandemic statistics, so it's probably a lot higher now, but 70% of all wine purchases in the US are made by women. Again, pre-pandemic.
Yeah,
and they wanted to it's way higher now for sure. Any of us that were homeschooling and working and everything else we were doing. They wanted to know if the statistic held true with women wine drinkers. So they asked them, if you were going to go in and buy a wine and one was easily identifiable, would you be more likely? And 90% once again said they would be. And the interesting side statistic that came out of all the people they polled, men and women, is that all the consumers assumed that if it's women owned, it was better quality, which I found fascinating, right? So that is a big money incentive to big companies who are for profit, right? And they want to make more money. So if they know, even if it was 2 cents more, that adds up very quickly, right?
Correct.
To a woman-owned product. So so that is one of the reasons why they do it, because bottom line, it's about the bottom line. So, but why would a supplier do it? Yes, it is a lot of work. If you don't outsource it yourself, it can be very time consuming. It takes people months, if not years, right, Quinn, to get your certification done. And so you want to know, you have to have an ROI on it. But here's what it does for you. You're knocking on the door, you're like, hey, Mr. Company, I want to do business with you. Hey, Miss Company, I want to do business with you. And they're like, we don't want any, or come back next year, or they just don't answer at all, which is so frustrating, especially to us entrepreneurs, because we're like, we know we're awesome, and we know you would love us, and we know you want to do business with us if you would just talk to me for 5 minutes. So the supplier diversity is like a side door. So what happens is that you go around the corner and the supplier diversity manager is like, hey, come in here. Let me talk to you, because you're a certified diverse supplier, which means you've been vetted. Now, once you're in that door, you have to sell like any other sale you will ever do. But you just got invited in, which is a huge component of it, right? It's just to get in the door. Now you're in the door, you're making the sale. So now it's you and someone else, and you're in the final part of this bid. And they're like, wow, they're both so good. How are we ever going to choose? Oh, this company's certified. That just tipped the scales in your favor. Yeah. Now, if you don't want to do business with the Fortune 1000, you still have 20,000 other diverse suppliers out there, probably 30,000 that want to do that you could do business with, that are looking, because I have to report my tier 2 spend to my corporate clients. So I'm always looking for diverse suppliers to do business with.
I love it. And thank you for breaking that down. I think that, for those of you who are just joining, maybe you are catching this, you're washing dishes or driving in the car, listening at your leisure, or you're catching it, once it goes live. It's interesting because I feel like nobody breaks it down like this. Like, we hear about all these certifications.
Yes.
We don't really know the advantages. We don't know. The analogy of the back door is great, because it's one thing to bang on the door and ask to be let in. It's one thing to say, hey, you come here, and let's have a conversation. So invited versus showing up uninvited, I think that is great. So let's talk about, because I know people are like, well, I have this type of business. Is that certifiable, or does that make sense? And I'm sure you get this question all the time.
All the time.
What types of businesses, are great to get certified? Like, is there some businesses like, oh yeah, you're probably not going to get certified if you want to do that, but here are kind of like some of the general categories that would be great for certification.
So there's no downside to certification. So regardless of your business, you can always get certified. But yes, some people will call me and I'll say like, well, you might not see the full ROI because of X, Y, and Z, right? So any business to business, right, can benefit from certification, okay? Because there is more than just business development opportunities. There's company development, which we can talk about in just a minute. So any business to business company, you're selling to another business, certification can only help you, okay? Now, let's say, for example, you're a massage therapist, and you typically just go, you have people come into your shop, or you go to people's houses, whatever. I don't know if I'd recommend getting certified unless you also want to go down to like your local hotel, like your Marriott or your MGM or your Caesars, as something for one of them, maybe they're a high roller or something that they're going to pay for. Then certification can be a way for you to get in the door with them. Okay. Same with a restaurant. Okay. You may not get a whole lot out of it. However, if you also have a catering component to your business, then yes, certification can be helpful for you to get in the door for catering business events. Right. So that's kind of the best way to think about it, is if you're business to business. Again, it doesn't matter which business you're selling to, because there is a huge ecosystem of companies from the Fortune 100 down to the small mom and pops who still want to do business with other certified suppliers, or you form JVs. Maybe your expertise is one half of somebody else's, right? Diversity Masterminds, which is my other company, which is this logo down here. That is a joint venture. We got business married though, between me and Liz, because she had the other part of the expertise I didn't have for that business that I was dreaming of. So, but I found her through the network of women-owned businesses, right? So you have to think about it in a strategic way. Like, and here's the other thing I hear is people say, I'm already in the door with them. I don't need to get certified. Okay, you're now in the door, but we all have competitors, right? And we always have to make sure that we're staying ahead of our competitors. So yes, right now you're in the door, but buyers come and go. And if your only contact in that company is now gone, there's always that person that comes in and is like, I'm going to save the day and I'm going to do this. So if there's no one else that's being your champion inside of a company, you might lose that account. You might not be the incumbent that gets brought back. They might purposely look for other people. So if the supplier diversity manager says, no, they are awesome and they're certified, you're not doing anything with them. You have other people advocating for you internally.
No, that's good stuff. And I want to talk about, just because I know I have a lot of entrepreneurs here who are also speakers. And I know that development and keynoting and all that good stuff. So when it comes to, and this is even me as well, I'm in the MC space. I do a lot of event hosting. I do some training and development and things like that, for people who have their business, but consulting or speaking or workshop or training could be part of what they do as well. What types of, opportunities, if you get the training or the speaking side of your business certified, are there opportunities to get are there opportunities if you are a speaker or a trainer? Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I don't know any speakers who don't also do some kind of consulting.
Right.
Okay. Oh, I mean, maybe there's a couple, but I just haven't met them yet, I guess. Right? They always have some other part of their business, right? Most of them are entrepreneurs. They're savvy. They want to have other revenue streams, right? Which thank God they did this last 18 months. Right. So if you have that, then yes, you have, let's say you executive coach to C-suite. Well, now that is a component you can use your certification for. Additionally, you can speak at all the regional events, at the national events. There's so many companies who are always looking to bring trainers in for whatever reason. Now, let's say you are a speaker who then works with other entrepreneurs. Well, as I said, there are 15,000 certified women-owned businesses. There's 14,000 certified minority-owned businesses. There's 1,000 certified LGBT-owned businesses, 1,000 veteran. There's all these companies that are going to be looking. Now, let's say you're a speaker who MCs. Well, there's event planners who are charged with finding speakers and MCs and hosts. So if you can then, through the network of certification, buddy up or reach out to them and say, hey, this is what I do. I'd love to be part of your network that you bring in for these events. Well, now that's the ROI right there. Like there's a whole system of people you can work with.
No, great stuff. And I'm glad that you broke it down, because some people are thinking, well, that's only for these type of businesses or, especially government. It's like tech. I hear a lot of like tech companies and things like that. So they don't think that their experience or their expertise could be certifiable. If that is.
I'm telling you, there's so many myths. People, it's really funny because if you would have asked me 10 years ago, I probably would have said consumer products, not so much. But now consumer products, because that Walmart thing I just told you about is blowing up. It's the highest, it is the fastest growing demographic within the certification organizations is consumer products, because people want to know where their money's going. People want to know, are that, who they're supporting, who's behind these products. And I think that's the one thing, again, that little glittery part of 2020 that's come out of it is that people are much more intentional about where they spend their dollars. They're no longer just shopping, they're shopping intentionally. So if you have that logo on your product, then people are going to be looking for you.
No, I agree, because I'm not going to lie. Like I intentionally go after women in Black owned businesses.
100%.
If it's a restaurant, if it's a service, I'm like, oh, sign me up. Oh, and they're Black owned, or and it's women owned. Like it definitely does, draw my attention, but I never thought about it from, the opposite way. So I'm just curious, because I know that you're doing well with both of your companies. What was Heather doing before she was certifying companies?
Oh, what was Heather doing? Well, Heather grew up performing in a circus in Southern California. I'm not joking. I really did. So I used to walk tightrope and unicycle and juggling. And then when I graduated high school, my parents said, she is not ready for college. So off to Europe, they sent me as an 18-year-old. Now I'm a parent. I'm like, what were they thinking? But I probably learned more in that year in Spain than I did in my 4 years of college. Off to University of Texas, I went. And when I came back, I worked, I was in hotels all through college. And then this thing called 9/11 happened, which kind of ruined those plans with international hospitality. And so I went back to Southern California and I started doing sales and operations. First some recruiting, and then I was doing sales management. And then I needed to find myself, and I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. So off to Israel I went to find myself, and whether I did or not is kind of up for negotiation, but I did find a husband and I got married. And about 11 months later, we welcomed our first baby into the world. And it was around that time that I was like, what do I want to do with my life again? I knew corporate America was always so mommy friendly. And so I had to figure out. So I was just meeting all these amazing women, whether it be executives or entrepreneurs or whatever they were doing. I wanted to know. I knew I had to work. I didn't know what that was going to look like. And so when I found the entrepreneurs, I was like, you guys are amazing. The energy, the type A personality, it just resonated with me. And so, but something that would come up in our conversations is this certification that they couldn't get done. And I'm like, hold up. You run like a, $1 million company, whatever, a $500,000 company, whatever it was. I'm like, and you can't do an application? What? So I looked into it and I'm like, and this is even before I was an entrepreneur. So not even understanding the time, the bandwidth time that we all are so limited on as entrepreneurs, trying to juggle a million different things and our families and everything else. And I was like, oh, I could do that for you. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. and then it kind of evolved and someone said, can you do the minority? Can you do the LGBT? Can you do that? And then the veterans actually came to us. And so pretty soon we became the experts in certification nationwide.
I love it. I love it. And that's so good to hear. And it's always good to hear a backstory because people just feel like, oh yeah, I woke up and I wanted to certify companies.
Oh,
like it's usually, not like that. So I want to hear some of your success stories. Tell me about a company who wasn't certified. They became certified and they got like a huge opportunity or their business or their life was changed. Because I really want to highlight, just the value of the certification and not just say, oh yeah, this is going to open up doors, but give people real life examples of companies who might have got better in LGBTQ or women owned, whatever certification, and their business just blossomed because of that.
So lots. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of backstory because people often think like if you certify it, they will come and $1 million contracts are going to rain from the sky. I would like to just remind everybody that that is not the case. It is a tool, is not a magic wand. And my best analogy is always the gym, right? People sign up for the gym all the time, January 1st, and they're like, I'm gonna get ripped. I'm gonna get me in shape. And then March 31st rolls around, they're like, I got nothing out of this gym. I'm not in shape still. I'm like, did you go to the gym or did you just like show up with your Starbucks in your hand? Like, did you engage a trainer for a couple weeks to know what you need to do? Did you change your food at all? And they're like, oh, no, I didn't do that. Well, then you can't blame the gym, okay? Because you didn't do the parts that are part of you. So if you get nothing, and that's why Diversity Masterminds was born, by the way, is because I was hearing so many times, I got nothing out of my certification. And I would say, did you do this? Did you do this? Did you do this? And they would say, I didn't know I should. I didn't know I could. And so I realized there was a huge gap between what the certifying bodies thought the entrepreneurs knew and what the entrepreneurs actually knew. And so I was trying to find a solution for my clients and I couldn't find one. So what do we do as entrepreneurs if we can't find a solution? We create one. And that's how Diversity Masterminds was born. So I want to just preempt of all these stories that you really have to, right? So my favorite one is probably one that's the most recent. And she was actually sent to us from one of our corporate clients and she did not want to do it. They were like, listen, Jackie, we want you to get certified. And she was like, ugh. They're like, we're going to pay for it. We're going to pay Heather for you to get certified. Like, we really want you to do it. And she's like, fine. So she did it. And we did her WOSB at the same time we did her WeBank. So WeBank is the Women's Business Enterprise National Council, since I'm going to throw out a bunch of acronyms right here. The Women's Business Enterprise National Council, which is the gold standard of private sector certification across the country. And WOSB is the Women-Owned Small Business. That is the federal government's small business certification for women. It is really the only small business certification out there, really. And WeBank has been given third-party authority from the SBA to certify for WOSB. So she got both. And she said, well, I guess I'll just go for some other contracts I've been looking for. So she put one in for the military. $5 million later from this one contract, from a certification. And the only reason they looked at her is because of her WOSB, because the federal government does have mandates. She was like, I will never doubt you again. Drinks are always on her from now on, right? So
that's awesome. That's a huge success story. And, I like your analogy of going to the gym because I feel like just because you walk into the gym and look at the machine, you're not going to magically lose weight.
And you don't know how to do it either. Yeah. Oh, wait.
Yeah. So I know we've been talking a little bit about the Certify My Company, but I would like to talk about your other company as well, because you're talking about there was a gap. So tell me about your other company and what your focus and your emphasis is for that mastermind.
So for Diversity Mastermind, let me give you one more story before I jump into that part. So when I was putting together a presentation for an event I was going to, I was collecting success stories from different clients. And one of them was this guy named Troy, who was also sent to us from a corporation. They didn't pay for it. He engaged us individually. But I said, hey, Troy, tell me about your successes, right? I said, tell me, like, what has all your certification done for you? And he said, honestly, Heather, like, not a whole lot. And I'm like, really? Well, just talk to me about the company, which the name I can't say, but they're in your computer. I said, like, tell me about that company. Like, what have you done now? Like, what did you do when you first started working with us? And like, what did you invoice them this year? And he said, well, I feel like it was about $250,000 we were invoicing them when we came to you. And last year, I think we did 2.1 million. So I was like, Troy, I'm not like a math genius, but I'm pretty sure that 2.1 million is bigger than 250,000. He said, it's true, but I didn't get that because I'm certified. I was like, of course not. You got the gig because you're really good at what you do. But when they said to you, Troy, it's really important to us that you get certified, and you said, that means it's important to me. You just showed them you're a partner to them and not just a transaction. And therefore, they were now more invested in you. So yes, you're good at what you do, which is why you get the gig, but they are invested in making sure you get more business from them. He said, oh, you know what's interesting? You know what they also did? They introduced me to a bunch of their clients. And I'm like, Troy, it's not always a direct A to B. Like there is sometimes zigzags, loops, whatever, but that is because you took it upon yourself to get certified when a client of yours said, this is important to us.
Right.
So that's the type of thing that people miss, right? They're like, oh, I got nothing out of it. But when I ask them questions like that, they're like, oh, it's not always linear how the success goes. And so many times people are talking behind the scenes. Like we get a lot of corporate clients. I really try to ask them, how do you find out about us? And the funniest one recently was they said, oh, this company told us. And I'm like, really? Because that supplier they sent us didn't even finish the product. Like I was so shocked that we got this, but we still did the work and we represented to them exactly what we do. So even though that wasn't like my most stellar engagement, right? They still were so impressed that they shared our information. But if I hadn't asked them how they got it, I would have never known. So that's why people don't realize the power of their certification, because they're not looking to all the different manners. So that being said, with diversity masterminds, what we do is we show people how to leverage their certification so they can get there faster. People oftentimes it is a very confusing. Like supplier diversity is a whole different realm. There's a lot of acronyms in there that we just throw around like they're real words. And and a lot of people describe it as like a clique when you first get in there. If you don't know people, and not everybody is like you and I, who'll be like, hey, we're best friends with everybody now. We're all friends.
Right.
So, not everybody can get in there. And, the corporations they sometimes look like they're standoffish because they're getting bombarded with hundreds of suppliers the whole day. So you really have to know how to use the system. Plus, maybe you're going after like a Fortune 100 when really you're not ready to do that yet. So how can you leverage your certification in the meantime while you're scaling up to get to that Fortune 100 client? So those are some of the things we talk about, like how to leverage your local affiliate or the other national affiliates, how to leverage the website. They're not always so user-friendly. So we show them how to use it and what information to pull out of it. What other opportunities with the pitch competitions, the mentorship opportunities. People forget about the company development aspect of certification all the time. And I will tell you, that's probably my favorite. So I signed up. So I am dual certified for the private sector as women-owned and disability-owned. And through my disability in certification, I signed up to be part of the Toyota mentorship program. So they partnered me up, and my partner, my mentor, was the CIO of Toyota North America. Now, her perspective from the C-suite of a Fortune 100 company is invaluable to me because I sell to the Fortune 100. So I was like, Holly, all these corporations are like, Heather, you're such a genius. You're so amazing. We're not going to hire you, but you're so amazing. I'm like, okay, Holly, what am I missing, right? Where is my gap between what I'm saying and what they need to hear? She is sitting in the C-suite. Like she really was able to help me with my messaging and what I'm sharing with them. And some of it was like the tiniest little tweaks and things that I just thought were just like so obvious. She's like, they're not obvious. So you have to tell people. But that to me, that is like a huge advantage of certification. See, with pitch competitions and executive education, like I got a scholarship to the Tuck Business School to go and learn how to be a better business owner, a better business leader. And I got a full scholarship to do it. So these are unbelievable opportunities that people don't take advantage of. And so we show them through diversity masterminds exactly what opportunities can really benefit their business, right? Whether it be women-owned, minority-owned, LGBT-owned, any of the demographics, they are out there. And people are like, well, I don't want to pitch. So after we send them to you and say, learn how to pitch, right? Even if you stink at it, just by saying your name and your company name on a stage in front of 200 people, hello, that's huge.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. No, this has been wonderful. I hate when the time goes so fast. I mean, we're already at 30 minutes. So I know people are like, oh my gosh, Heather, where has she been at all of my life? I need to certify everything. Where can people go to learn more about Certify My Company or Diversity Mastermind? How can people connect with you and get this process started? Because I mean, if you're not convinced after hearing it, I'm like, literally have a full page of notes. I'm like, I need to revisit this because it was on my radar, but I need to go back to it because you're right. And it's like, Quinn, what's wrong with you? You need to do this like yesterday. So where can people go to learn more about, I would say Certify My Company first, and then Diversity Mastermind should be like a second thing, right? So where can they go to learn about Certify My Company?
So certifymycompany.com is our website. And you can, there's a form you can send, or just send me an email to heather@certifymycompany.com. And then once you're certified, that's when you take Diversity Masterminds, which is diversitymasterminds.com. We have two offerings. One is an on-demand version, which is all videos. You can do it at your own pace. And the other is a live cohort that we do quarterly right now. And a lot of people will upgrade from the on-demand to the live because they have more questions that they want to get through. You can also go at Certify My Co. is all our social media handles, at Div Masterminds or the Diversity Masterminds one. There's lots of super fun information on there. We share opportunities on there. Right now, there's a big one for women in color through WeBank to really learn about mentorship. And so that's a huge push right now through WeBank. So if you're on at Certify My Co, you'll see that all over the place. And so, yeah, it's a huge opportunity. And yes, if I think there's someone that you need to meet, and Quinn can attest, I will introduce you because I think it's so important. And it's not something I charge for. I just think it's such an important thing for all of us to do as women, as business owners, to say like, okay, I don't know if this is crazy or not, but y'all would be great together.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and it worked out just fine. Yeah, no, absolutely. So I am actually going to revisit this. I'm going to honor your time. Stay around for just a second, Heather. I'm going to close out and I'm going to come right back to you. And one more time, if people are looking to connect with you to get their company certified, tell them again, where can they go?
Certifymycompany.com.
Certifymycompany.com. Thank you so much, Heather. I'll be right with you in just a second.
Sure.
All right. All right, y'all. I told you Heather was going to be awesome and amazing. I got a full page of notes here. I don't know about you, but I think now is a great time to get your certifications in order. Me raising my hand as well. I'm going to have my VA get on it. As always, I want to appreciate and thank you for joining me for another episode of the Speak Black Woman podcast. If you enjoyed the conversation that I had with Heather, make sure when you download this podcast on your iPhone or your Android, leave a comment. Let us know how much you loved it. Give us 5 stars if you thought this was amazing. And as always, if you have a guest that you would think would be great on the Speak Black Woman podcast, you can email me at tribe@quinconyers.com. Again, that's tribe@quinconyers.com. We will take a look. But as always, if you are a Black woman in business, if you are a woman in business and you are not leaning in and leveraging your voice in your business, you are leaving money on the table. Now is a great time to leverage public speaking and pitching as an income stream, revenue model, and even lead generation tool within your business. So as always, I want to personally thank you for listening to the Speak Black Woman podcast. If you want to learn more about upcoming episodes, past episodes, Speak Black Woman merchandise, or any type of events that we have coming up, go to speakblackwoman.com. Again, that is speakblackwoman.com. You can learn more about our movement. You can download this into some podcasts, but more importantly, you can stay connected with a group of women in business who are also passionate about making a profit from public speaking. So until next Wednesday at 4:00 Eastern Standard Time, enjoy your day and remember to speak up on behalf of your business, your book, or your brand.